Music composer. What is your number one job as a music composer? This is the most misunderstood thing, I think, in all of the music industry. What does a music composer do? Now, I'm going to start this out by telling you what I thought a music composer did when I first started composing music, right? I would sit on my computer. The very first DAW I ever used was Cubase VST5. Okay, I don't know if you know what that is, but basically the reason I started using it is because I had this PC. I think it was when they very first released the very first dual-core CPU. A CPU with 2 cores to it. It was crazy, right? So the Intel dual-core CPU, and I'm like, I'm going to be a composer, man. I'm going to be a producer and a composer, right? So I get Cubase VST because I hear that it's really good with MIDI, right? And if you don't know what MIDI is, then maybe this conversation isn't for you, right? But I thought a music composer would sit at the computer and they would write music with their keyboard and they would make beautiful melodies and they would just sit around and just, think about and ponder ideas of music in their head, right? And they would get it down and then they would just add all these layers and all these sounds and all this beautiful stuff. I quickly learned when I got my first gig composing music that if I wanted to be a good media composer, a film composer, a TV composer, a commercial composer, I had to learn how to tell a story with the actual director, with the team of people that are making this piece of content. So the number one job I realized that a composer has is to be a part of a team and be a storyteller and work along that story. Work to tell that narrative, work to sell that car, work to sell those sunglasses, right? Work to capture the essence of the actor's nuances with their eyes and the way they're looking at someone, or their tonality with their voice when they come in and get really stern. I realized really quickly that my music was just a thread to the story, to the narrative, to the overall visual aspect of what was happening on screen. To the brand identity, down to the identity that a Kmart, a McDonald's, a Nike, what do they think of when they think of Nike? Do they think of organic sounds? Do they think of, how do they feel about everything that's moving and what it should do and what it should embody? That's what composing is. That's what being a music composer, a film composer, TV composer, media composer, that's what it is. It's storytelling. It's working with a team to be a part of that, to give a third dimension, to give more meaning to the dialogue, to give a third dimension to the lighting of the scene, to tell that thing that everybody isn't being said through dialogue. You want to tell it through the musical notes. You want to tell it through the sounds of the musical notes, or the timbres, the textures, the layers. And that right there, that was like when things clicked for me as a composer. That's when I started getting more gigs. That's when I started landing more commercials. When I started going, oh my gosh, I just scored a Verizon commercial. I got another Verizon commercial. I got a Lexus commercial. There's another one, a third one. Like they were just like pouring in. I got a Dodge commercial. It went to the Cannes Film Festival, right? I was really excited about it because I started to learn. I'm telling the story. I'm telling the story. I'm telling the story. I am a storyteller. I am part of the narrative. I am not going to go make the best music. My focus is not to go make this beautiful piece of music that just stands on its own and it's incredible. My job is to make the music that supports everything else going on with the story. So once you figure that out as a composer, you'll become very, very, very good at your job. You'll land a lot more gigs, I promise you that. So if you'd like to learn more about composing, what a media composer does, sync licensing your records you already have to get them synchronized to picture, join the Beat Gang. Click the link in the description, join today, and we go through all this stuff. We do weekly Zoom calls, building your music business. We pitch out for sync licensing, major placements. We work with independent artists and build them up. And I'd love to have you part of the gang. And also, if you like this video, like it. Actually hit the like thing, right? It helps us with the algorithm, helps us reach more people that need the help. Really appreciate you. And remember, this is the tip of the day. And it's almost every single day.